Hello, hello, hello. This is Gresh from the I Am CEO podcast, and I have a very special guest on the show today. I have Hannah Westfall of Westfall Digital Strategies. Hannah, it's awesome to have you on the show.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
No problem. Super excited to have you on. And before we jumped in, I wanted to read a little bit more about Hannah so you can hear about all the awesome things that she's doing. And Hannah is an entrepreneur at heart and has always dreamed of owning her own business. In 2019, that dream came true when she discovered how much small businesses need support when it comes to marketing online. From social media to web design, she saw the opportunity to combine her passion for entrepreneurship and marketing to support the dreams of other small businesses. She is growing her business into a full marketing agency with a mission to serve small businesses and work to do good for their communities. Hannah, are you ready to speak to the IMCO community?
Yes. Let's get started.
Let's do it. So to kick everything off, I wanted to rewind the clock a little bit. I know you said you always wanted to start your business. So I want to hear a little bit more on your what I call your CEO story. What led you to finally get started with the business?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I have been a CEO dreamer forever. Everyone's always like, what's your dream job? And I'm like, I want to run everything, which is always super funny. But a lot of that comes from seeing my parents. So both of them are entrepreneurial. So my mom has started a variety of different businesses. I'm actually in her business right now,
Nice.
Hub, which is really great. And then my dad, while he technically worked for the Washingtonian magazine, he was an ad salesman. And so he got to do kind of his own thing. He got to go make connections with the community, and he really taught me how important it is to get to know the people that you work with and genuinely think about what's best for them. I mean, he would always have 10-year-long relationships with people who never bought an ad, and then that 11th year, they bought 4 full-page ads, and it was because they had that relationship with them. So between the two of them, I just have never really desired to be much of a corporate kind of gal. And so as I went into college and I got to pick what I wanted to study, I knew I wanted to go into business, partly because I was like, at the very least, I can get a job doing something with that degree. And then I did marketing and entrepreneurial management. So I love marketing. I love understanding how people buy what they buy, how you can communicate your message to others, and how you can really create some influence there. And then also entrepreneurial management, I just love the idea of starting a new business. So I thought, why not get a degree in that? So through my experience doing that, I just got to really talk with other entrepreneurs and small business owners, and that really grew my passion for that. But I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I didn't have any great inventions, or I didn't even really know what businesses needed. And so I kind of just went into the world, got a couple jobs after college, moved to Georgia, which is where you might hear some of that southern drawl. And I just really didn't enjoy working for other people. That sounds kind of silly and ridiculous, but I really just felt like, okay, I want to kind of do things my way. And so while I was working for Chick-fil-A, doing a lot of catering and some marketing for them, I started to work for my mom's business, and I did all of her digital marketing, so social media, updating her website, all that fun stuff, and she paid me better than Chick-fil-A did even, and so I was like, this is great, and I just really learned to love it. And as I was doing that, people that my mom knew were saying, hey, Julia, your stuff's looking awesome, and being the mother that she is, she hyped me up better than I probably deserved. And so from there, I just thought, wow, people really could use this kind of help. And people started to reach out saying, hey, can you help me with this? Hey, can you do this? Hey, how do you do that? And I was like, why am I messing around with Chick-fil-A when I could do all of this fun digital marketing content and really kind of own my own story and my own business? So I moved from Georgia back up to DC, and I've been here for almost a year now. I grew up here, so it wasn't that big of a change, and it's been really fun. I've gotten to meet a lot of new business owners and really just help them find ways to share their stories and their message online.
Absolutely. No, I love that. And I love you have the entrepreneurial blood, as you say, kind of running through your veins, and your mom's been a contributor to our sites as well too. So I know,
Mhm.
you know, you all do some really phenomenal things. And I really love how a lot of times you don't start out knowing exactly what you want to do. Like you said, you may not have the invention, you may not have the exact idea, but you know, you have that entrepreneurial kind of spirit running through your veins. And then, you know, you get one opportunity and next thing you know, it starts to blossom into so many other, which I think sometimes
Mhm.
some of the best businesses kind of just grow from that need standpoint. It sounds like.
Mhm. Absolutely, yeah. It's always, even now, I'm like, started out with one thing and it's looking slightly different and I'm looking at some
Mhm.
new opportunities and it's just really cool and very exciting. I love a challenge, so.
Yeah, absolutely. And entrepreneurship is definitely the way to go if you're looking for challenges as well.
Yes, it is. It is.
So I know you touched on it a little bit, and I did as well when I read your bio. Can you take us through
Mhm.
how exactly you work with your clients and how you provide those digital marketing skills that they need?
Yeah, absolutely. So some of it is a variety of things, but mainly what I do for clients is I manage their social media. So that could be anything from their strategy all the way through to their content and engagement and always looking at their analytics. So I really help them to create a solid opportunity to connect with their potential and ideal customers. I don't want them to just connect with anybody. I want them to connect with people who are actually going to want to pay for what they're offering. And then I also help them to design websites, email campaigns, and I've been branching into some more SEO, which is really fun and exciting. And so it's been cool to see how I can even work with my clients to combine all of those things because they all work together. And so trying to help them to really create a cohesive online presence so that they can connect with their ideal clients. So that's kind of the short run of it.
Nice. I absolutely love that, and especially that word that I think a lot of people forget, and they forget oftentimes in the execution of what they're doing is that cohesion that you kind of
Mhm.
spoke to. And I think, as you said, you know, there's so many different aspects of, you know, digital marketing and your online presence, but to be able to provide that cohesion where if you're on a Facebook page or an Instagram account or you're on somebody's website, you feel like you're in and talking to and communicating and hearing from the exact same business. And that's definitely something that it's huge and I would say not as well executed as it could be.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I wanted to ask you for what I call your secret sauce. And this could be for
Mhm.
yourself or your business, but what do you feel kind of sets you apart and makes you unique?
Yeah, so I really enjoy being kind of a jack of all trades. I think that I'm good at what I do, which can sound very arrogant, but I'm trying to own that. And just being willing to say, you know, I can really help and I work very efficiently. And I think that that's what really makes me unique. I hear a lot from people. They're like, wow, you did this so quickly and did it so well. And I was like, well, that's what happens when you focus and you really try to put your best foot forward. So I think that's the big difference there. And I genuinely care about my clients. So even that, you know, when they're like, hey, can we do this? I know it's a little bit about the outside of our scope of work. Oftentimes I'm willing to kind of make a little bit of a sacrifice and say, you know what, I know this is really going to help you. I know as a startup you don't have the extra funds to add this massive thing. So let's find a way to work together and get this done. And so I really believe that that's what kind of sets me apart is I genuinely want to do everything I can to help them benefit and grow as best they can.
Yeah, it's extremely powerful. And I don't know if you feel this exact same way, but I feel like even in entrepreneurship from more of a general standpoint, I think being a jack of all trades or Jane of all trades is a great way to be able to look at things in kind of a unique way and with a unique perspective. Because I think so many times in so many different industries and businesses and organizations, if you've been in the business for, let's say, 20, 30 years, you have
Mm-hmm.
sometimes those perspectives, those ways of business, the way things have been done. And I think often when you're able to have those varied experiences, those various perspectives, it allows you to come up with a lot of solutions that can help solve problems as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen how like my understanding of web design actually really benefits the way that I create email campaigns or the way that I
Mm,
create social media campaigns. It's because I understand how it all works together and I can actually do it. So I can go from the social media speak to the web development speak to the SEO kind of chatter and understand it, which is always really, really fun. And trying to explain that to my clients, I think also helps because they can track with me. So yeah, I definitely think finding a way to bring all of those things together is really important.
Absolutely, and do it in a cohesive way is definitely as important as you said as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to switch gears a little bit, and I wanted
Okay.
to ask you for what I call a CEO hack. So this could be like an app, a book, or a habit that you have, but what's something that makes you more effective and efficient?
Yes, so I actually have two that I'm going to share. So I'm going to be
Mhm.
a little crazy. But the first thing that I've really found that was really helpful was the book Grit by Angela Duckworth. I don't know if you're familiar with it. I'm sure a lot of your listeners probably are. But I am not naturally a growth mindset kind of person. I have a very fixed mindset. And so since reading that book, being able to recognize where I am and actively choose to say to myself, okay, I can learn these new things. I can do these new things instead of really sitting in that, okay, I am what I am and I can't learn anything new. Everything I do now for my entire business is something I've never done before in the same way, in the same level. Every new client is something completely new. Even if they're in the same industry, they're a new business. And so having that mentality of saying, okay, I can grow and I can learn, I can figure this out, it's been really, really helpful. So I highly recommend anyone who needs some encouragement there to read that book. And then my second one, I actually have it in front of me. It's the Full Focus Planner, like full of all this fun stuff. It is a Michael Hyatt tool,
Mhm.
and it has completely transformed the way that I manage my time. It has a really cool aspect where you just list like the top 3 things that you have to accomplish that day. And that even helps me to say, okay, at the end of the day, if I do these 3 things, I can call it a success. Because oftentimes it's like your to-do list is 1,000 things long and always growing. And so it can feel really overwhelming and like defeating if you start your day with a long list and then you end your day with an even longer list. But knowing, okay, if I do these 3 things, then I can consider it success. And also it helps me to say, okay, I have these goals set out. I can divide them up and do each of these things each month, each week, each day to help me reach those goals. So it's a little less daunting. That's definitely my favorite, the Full Focus Planner. My little plug that I don't have any kind of sponsorship relationship to, but I really enjoy and recommend it to everybody. So I would say those are my 2 CEO hacks.
Nice. Absolutely love that. Maybe you should get that plug because I think that anytime you're able to
Right.
be more effective and efficient, that's definitely a great way to go. And as you said, often we'll have 1,000 to-dos, but to be able to prioritize those every single day and know these are the top 3 things that are going to help move the needle for it. Not that the other things on the list aren't important, but these are the really highest priority things that we need to execute on. It is definitely huge. And I love the book Grit. I haven't picked it up, but I've heard, so many great
Mm-hmm.
things about it. And I think that as you kind of spoke to, so many times we don't understand that a lot of the grit or the lessons or the things that some of the most successful people do or are able to do and accomplish are not things that they're born with. They're kind of learned skills where you continue
Mm-hmm.
to execute and you're okay with it not being perfect from day one, but you continue to kind of work on it. And then that's how you be successful and efficient at what you do.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So now I wanted to ask you for what I call a CEO nugget, and that could be a word of
Mm-hmm.
wisdom or piece of advice. Could be around digital marketing, or if you were to hop into a time machine, you might tell your younger business self.
Yeah, I would say definitely it kind of goes with that grit kind of thing. Giving yourself the space to fail and to fail hard.
Mhm.
I feel like that's something it's definitely not new. It's not an original thought to me, but I mean, the number of times, even since starting my business, I've failed, and sometimes I've wanted to cry or sometimes just completely wanted to beat myself up and say, what am I doing? Should I just quit and go into a safer field? Reminding myself, hey, you're learning something. Every hard conversation, every failed proposal, every awkward interaction is teaching me something. So I would definitely say, letting yourself be okay with failure and then learning from it, not letting it define you or define your story is definitely a big, big piece there. And then when it comes to marketing, something I kind of mentioned before too is really focusing on that cohesion. I think our world, our economy, our businesses are all so global now. Like even if you don't think it is, between all the different social media platforms, people with a small sticker business here in the United States could have someone in Japan who wants to purchase something from them now, and it's totally possible. And so I think when you can really create a strong, cohesive digital presence, it just helps to make your customers feel better about working with you, that they feel like they can trust you, that they can really understand and know the brand. And so I think to be able to market your business cohesively is really, really vital. So for anyone, I mean, myself included, that's something I'm working on for my business as well. I'd say those are my two little CEO nuggets.
Right, absolutely. I love that, and that trust and understanding that you kind of spoke to. Sometimes you think, of course, it looks good to be able to have things that are cohesive, but I think talking about that trust, that understanding of the potential client that's coming to your Instagram account or going to your website or getting their email newsletter and their inbox, all that creates that trust and that understanding as you kind of spoke to. And I think anytime you're building or growing a business, you want to make sure that everything you do kind of oozes all of that trust and understanding, so that you're able to kind of get and build a successful business. And I absolutely love that reminder as well too. Again, sometimes I usually say one of the best things I wish that I knew was that the people that are the successful people, the most successful people and that we define as success, it wasn't learned on day one. It was a process. It had bumps and bruises, had failures, mistakes, things. The only difference was that they didn't let those things stop you. And I think once we understand that it's okay, we can give ourselves grace for making mistakes and making failures, but they're not final until we actually throw in the towel, and nobody should throw in the towel. So I appreciate you reminding us of that.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. So now I wanted to ask you my absolute favorite question, which is the definition of what it means to be a CEO. And we're hoping to have different quote unquote CEOs on the show. So Hannah, what does being a CEO mean to you?
I think for me, being a CEO is an opportunity to influence not only the clients that I work with, but the team that I'm building. So my dream is to really build out an entire agency and to hire people who are smarter and more creative than I am, and to really use that influence to do good in the community, to find companies who are doing good things, who are taking stances on different political or social issues, and really using their business to help promote good things in this world. And so I think being a CEO allows me to pick and choose what that looks like. I get to pick which clients I work with. I get to pick who I hire. I even get to pick what message I want to put into the world. And so I think that freedom is something that's really important to me and just gives me a really great opportunity to bring about some good. So I think being a CEO is really finding how you can use your influence to make a positive impact in the world.
That's extremely powerful. And I think so many times we get so caught up in the what of what we do. And I think, of course, that's important. But as you kind of talked to and spoke to the why of why we doing it, to be able to have that influence, to be able to have that impact, sometimes directly through our business, but sometimes through the clients and businesses we work with and the team members we have that we're working with as well, we can have such a great influence. And as the quote goes, be the good you wish to see in the world. And I think when we're doing that, when we understand that, then we start to see that in every aspect of our lives and in the world that we live in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Hannah, truly appreciate that definition. I appreciate your time even more. What I wanted to do is pass you the mic, so to speak, just to see if there's anything additional you can let our readers and listeners know, and of course, how best they can get a hold of you and find out about all the awesome things you're working on.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, anything additional? I would say take the time to figure out how you want to market your business well and invest in that. I think I have run into a lot of people who are just kind of scared of marketing. They either want to have it all exactly right, or they just don't even know where to start. And there's so many options now. And so I think finding someone who can help you have that conversation, think through it, and create that strong message and plan to share that message is really important, because I know there's so many businesses who are doing incredible things and offering incredible products and services, and half the time they just aren't getting the message out in the right way for people to get to know them, and to say, wow, you have exactly what I need. I want to be a part of what you're doing. So I definitely would say for any business owner or anyone listening, make sure you take that time and think about it not as how can I sell people things, it's how can I share my message, how can I help, and how can I serve others, because that's ultimately what you're doing. And then just the best way to get in touch with me, I'd say check out my website, westfalldigitalstrategies.com. I have a million different social media accounts, so the easiest way to get a hold of them are from that site. They're all listed there. And I would love to connect with anyone who either has questions or, wants to be a part of bringing about good in our nation, in our world, through our businesses.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Hannah. We will have the links and information in the show notes, but I definitely, appreciate that reminder as well too. It's kind of like, I guess the saying is, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it, did it really fall? And I think the same thing is, you have a really great business, you have a really great organization, you're doing phenomenal things, but if you're not able to accurately and concisely and succinctly express that to your potential clients and customers, are you really making the impact that you could? So I appreciate you so much in helping so many businesses and organizations do that, and I hope you have a phenomenal rest of the day.
Thank you. You too.